Oh, team, Alan Rath here, just cutting through the bush here in Australia. Flipping heck. The other day I went for a walk in the bush down here with AC. Hey boy, how's it going? Just waiting for me, such a legend. And flipping heck, honestly, you hear all those birds? Sorry, just putting this little tripod out here. There you go. So, I came home, and this is something we don't have issues with in New Zealand, is a tick, a massive flipping tick like that big on my sweatshirt when I got home and decided to jump into the shower. Basically, when I got out of the shower, there was a tick on my sweatshirt. Wait, come here. He's trying to go across the creek because he likes going across there. This is just down the road from my house, actually. Good spot, man. There's this beautiful here we go, I'll show you. Beautiful lake, look at this. There's about 3 of them here. There's big snakes I've been warned about in here. And then some beautiful power lines just running straight through. So this is me, Alan Rath. I live in the Gold Coast and I'm a Kiwi. I migrated to the Gold Coast in January. 3 times I've moved to the Gold Coast since 2014. And twice I failed. And those 2 times, major heartbreak, major upset, massive insecurity. But on the 3rd time, I finally managed to make it work. And I'm here today to tell you that it's going to be all good, you know. It's all right failing. It's all right having a crack at life. And, oh, you all right, boy? Ace is just sitting down here. Look at you, bro. Have a look at him. So this is Ace the Bordoodle. You can check his Instagram account out if you want. He's a little bit of a local legend here down in Madraba. And I've just really enjoyed being in Australia and living a dream of mine, or as small as it is, but to have a dog. And I just think dogs is epic. And I mean, they're just universally just awesome. And if a dog was a human, could you imagine how awesome that human would be? I mean, it'd be weird that they'd be trying to lick you and stuff and lick your feet. That's weird. But yeah, having a dog is awesome. I've just got some notes here I'm just going to go through on my phone for you. So today we're going to chat about, here, where's my thrilling title that I wrote out? Ooh. NZ versus Australia. Cost of living. Wait, AC, come here. He's wandering off. Sorry. So the cost of living in Australia. I'll be honest with you. It's kind of same, but I'm going to give you the data which ChatGPT helped me work out, and I went through it and I agree with it. And I found this data like a week ago. So basically there might be a little bit of discrepancy. So today's date is the 15th of July, 2026. Now, we've just had really expensive petrol prices due to stuff going on in Hamas. And yeah, it didn't really go expensive for that long. And I have lived in New Zealand during the C word. But basically, I've never paid as much for petrol as I have when I was in New Zealand. So during 2022, or 2023, 2020, end of 2022, we're paying like close to $3.50 a litre for 91. And never in my life had I collected the 10 cents off, 5 cents off, put petrol on a Wednesday, get double, collect the things, cash them in. I'd never done that until then. I'd always just run with it and just put gas in anywhere. But now, and then that's when I found like a massive pinch. So let's go through it. Okay, so petrol, all right. So petrol in New Zealand. So wait, that's not right. So, oh yeah, okay, so sorry. I asked ChatGPT to write down, because you're a Kiwi, right? And you're in New Zealand and you want to know whether you should move to Australia and how expensive it is. So I got ChatGPT to put down New Zealand prices only. Hopefully that helps. So here we go, petrol. So petrol in New Zealand is about $3.11 a litre. All right. To convert that to Australia, if I was to go put petrol in today, it'd be about $1.95 New Zealand dollars. So straight there, it's over $1. So what's that, like $1.16? So, and if we just round that down to $1, give or take what day it is, I mean, come on. If you had a pretty standard, like 50-litre tank in your car and you put petrol in and that's only 91, that's $50 savings straight away, New Zealand dollars. Okay. Groceries in Australia. So Woolies, they call it here. I still call it Woolworths because it sounds weird to say Woolies. About 59 NZD for a basket. And in New Zealand, the same basket with the same food, get ready for it, 67 NZD. So then we've got like a whole, man, it's just shy of $20 difference. So it's more expensive in New Zealand. Eating out, okay, the Gold Coast where I live is bloody expensive. It's about $37 NZD just to go out and have a meal on your own and sit and have a beer and have a meal. And maybe if you do that, if you take your wife, we're talking like $65 or something. So eating out in the Gold Coast is really expensive. And I kind of just giving you this data because it'd be much the same as Sydney, as Melbourne, as Brisbane. If you want to go to the regions, that's cool. But you'd be going to the bakery for a pie. And I can tell you already, New Zealand pies are way better than Australian pies. But I went to Finklehead today and I had a pretty bloody good pie, I'll be honest with you. Okay, beer. All right, because you're all beer drinkers, aren't you? I mean, if you drink beer, you'll fit right in here because everybody drinks beer. And especially in the Gold Coast where I live, it's so flipping hot. I'll be honest with you, the one thing I found about drinking beer, craft beer in New Zealand is huge. And I found that drinking craft beer was like, over the last 10 years, like just one of the most common things. A lot of craft beer breweries. But when you get here, it's so flipping hot. All you want is something clean, sparkling, light, and like a lager. And a lot of guys drink the middies. Hey, come here. So just talking to Ace. So a lot of guys drink the middies, but for a standard beer, 4.2%, we're talking for a pint. So if you go out, watch some footy, $13.40 New Zealand dollars. And it says that New Zealand to Australia is pretty similar. So if you're a beer drinker, you know that. It's 12, 13 bucks. Oi, come, don't wander off. Yeah, boy. All right, wine, Australian bottle of wine. Well, not an Australian bottle, but a bottle of wine in Australia. It's about 24 NZD. And in New Zealand, it's about $16 NZD. So that's a lot cheaper, all right? One thing I did find coming here is that alcohol was a lot more expensive. And in Queensland where we are, you can't buy it in the supermarkets. In New South Wales, you can buy it in the Aldi stores, but it's not like going to a Foursquare or a supermarket. There's no beer and wine. Internet. Okay, so roughly pay about 96 New Zealand dollars a month. And in New Zealand, you'd roughly pay about $65 to $70 a month, which is interesting. That's a median. I know we pay a lot less than that. I think we pay about $80. So we have had no gripes, no issues with our internet. It's completely unlimited. We've got 5 people in our family and we can all be at home streaming using the internet. And the only issue I have is that we probably need more of those router things to daisy chain them around the house. It's a little bit weak upstairs. Okay, phone plan. So we're talking cell phone plan. In Australia, it's about 48 NZD per month. And in New Zealand, it's about 40 to 43. Now that's a load of bull crap right there because I've had the cheapest plans in Australia, even back to 2014. In 2014, I had a plan, I had 15 gig of data for $40 a month. And now, for $40 a month, I get about 80 gig, and the amount of rollover data and everything I get, it's up to like over 300 gig. It's actually ridiculous. So the cheapest plan is $20, I think, which my daughter's on, and she has that because we give her the cheapest plan because we're actually mean parents. We buy our kids the cheapest things ever, like Dr. Martens school shoes, $300 a pair. But yeah, she gets like 15 gig, unlimited calls, unlimited text, and no issues at all. So in New Zealand, she was on the cheapest plan, which was like $10, and she, I felt really mean there because she got like 500 megabyte on like a skinny plan or something. Okay, getting a job in Australia as a Kiwi. I've talked about this in another video, but I found it really hard to get a job. If you are in health, teaching, what else is there? Trades, you would, kind of services, you would do really good because there's a lot of work. And in the Gold Coast for tradies, there is a lot of money going around. And I've heard what some guys are earning, and it is insane. It's actually incredibly insane. It seems like there's a lot of work to be able to build up a company as well. If you're business minded as a tradie, like a chippy, there's a lot of work going around for you to make it. I was talking to a local plumber. He's changed his business model, but he was saying that he had close to 30 staff just recently before changing a bunch of things up. 16 vans on the road. Absolutely insane. And yeah, he said the work's out there. Okay, the weather. Okay, the weather's epic. In the summer, in the Gold Coast, we get cyclones. And the one thing about the cyclones, they cause a lot of rain. It's a wet season. The Gold Coast gets the tail end of the wet season, which is, I don't know, I find it really exciting. The one thing I found about the weather in the Gold Coast is it's either completely placid or going absolutely psycho. And when it's going absolutely psycho, I mean, we get a few floods, we get, the one thing is it's very predictable, the weather. So say one of my kids had a birthday party that we had to organize for the next 2 weeks. We could just say, hey, 3 weeks from now, we're going to do it outside at this beach, and pretty much guaranteed during the winter that we're going to have good weather, no wind, clear sky. Biggest hazard would probably be sunburn. The summer's a little bit different in Queensland because we get that wet season, but pretty much it's very predictable for the fact that if there's no cyclone bearing down, which isn't all that often, then you're kind of like, hey, the morning is going to be epic. And then come the afternoon, it's a bit of a storm's going to roll in. It's going to chase everyone away from the beach. So we'll all be done by 3 o'clock. Weather is absolutely epic. So what are we today? What did I say? The 15th of July. I feel like I said 17th before, but 15th of July. And I am just like, I'm out here. I'm wearing a t-shirt. Not cold. This morning I was cold when I woke up because it was 8 degrees, but it's pretty good, like during the day if you can get into the sun. I liken it to Queenstown or Alexandra. I think Alexandra. Yeah, those places in the South Island that their summers are like beautiful and they can be hot, like high 20s, or our winters like that here. And it's as if when you, in those places, there's no humidity. So when you step out of the sun and go into the shade, it feels like someone switched the aircon on to like 16 degrees, gets pretty cold. Yeah, I mean, gosh, what else have I got to say? Let me just have a quick look. Okay, should we summarize this? Okay, so let's just say that Australia is not automatically cheaper. I didn't talk about car registrations. Car registers are generally about $500, close to $500 per 6 months in New Zealand, and that's Australian dollars. So we're talking about $550 to $600. In New Zealand, man, it's cheap as to register your car there. What is it, like a couple $100 for the whole year? Petrol's your biggest saving by far. And even with the higher registrations, I find that New Zealand is still, I'm saving myself about 5,000 New Zealand dollars a year just to do, run my car. And a lot of it is about where you live. One more thing I'm going to touch on is housing and property. The Gold Coast lifestyle can still be really expensive because it's like a lot of people here wanting to live here, a lot of money, and a lot of people moved here from Sydney, Melbourne with their houses they sold there and bought up a lot of the market. We are like homeowners here, we paid a lot of money for our townhouse, but it's a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom townhouse. That is really epic to be able to have that. And it's close to the motorway. It's close to the beaches, 9 minutes to the closest beach, which is Palm Beach. And that is absolutely beautiful beach to go to. We're 20 minutes down to the super bank. So we live in a very expensive area, and we've got private schools. There's about 3 private schools within a 5-minute drive of our house. I know 4, plus a couple of state schools within a 5-minute drive of our house. To buy a house here, to buy a 4-bedroom house, was much like buying a house peak like prices in Auckland. 10 years ago, we could have bought 5-minute walk to the beach sort of house, local in Palm Beach, for around $500,000. Now you're looking at paying just over $1 million for, or just over or just under $1 million for a townhouse. To have a 4-bedroom property, you're probably looking at 1.2 million upwards, and then 1.3 million, 1.4 if you want a pool, which is, it'd be great to have a pool. We would like our own personal pool, but it is very expensive. Here in Queensland, we also have a thing called, all over Australia, is stamp duty. We're border citizens, so it's only 20 minutes to get to the New South Wales border. So we looked at properties in New South Wales. Stamp duty there, it's a percentage of your house sale. There are little loopholes and stuff we had never owned before globally. So we thought we might be able to get on some first home buyer grants. Let's walk and talk. AC, come. Let's go. So we thought we'd get on some first home buyer grants. We weren't able to do that, but I wish we could have. So stamp duty, you're probably looking, I think it's like on $1 million house, which is pretty normal, you're probably looking at paying about 30 grand, all right? So that is a tax that you pay on entry when you buy the house, but you don't pay any tax or capital gains when you sell the house. And the other thing is when you buy a car, there's also a tax, like a stamp duty tax as well. So the other thing I'll touch on quick before I go, man, look at this backdrop. How good is that, eh? Cars are a lot more expensive here. So if you buy a car, in New Zealand, we had $5,000 like Corollas, a couple of Toyota Wish, the Fielders, the cheapest chips, barely have to service them. The only thing you do is brakes and tires and services. That sort of car here is about $10,000 to $12,000 for the same thing, because they don't have the Japanese imports here that all the cars here are Australian new. I think they have some sort of import thing, but it's not like New Zealand where there's heaps of imports coming in. So we found that to own a couple of roadworthy cars, you got to spend 10K. So, and I mean, if you are looking at moving to Australia and you are looking at purchasing a house, then that should be totally affordable for you and should be in your budget. So yeah, to be honest with you, we did it on a total shoestring with pretty much no money at all. We didn't have a property to sell, but we managed to do it. And if we can do it, never owned a home in New Zealand, came here, and in our first year, I've been here for 7 months, we were able to buy our first home and buy 2 cars and put our kids through bloody expensive private schooling. So yeah, anyway, here's that school I was talking about. I don't know, I think this place is like 30 grand a year. If you know, what's her name, Barbie, the girl that played Barbie, Margot Robbie, she went to that school. So they've also got an Olympic-sized swimming pool and 3 cafes just for their staff. How epic's that? Ace found that. Oi, what is that? Get him. I think it's ducks. Go, get him. All right, guys. Hope you had a good day. Chat soon, eh?